Find yourself a comfortable seat and begin to settle. Knowing is enough. I really believe this. Knowing is enough. The trouble is you sometimes forget that you know. And you'll tell yourself things. And then you'll think you know those things that you're telling yourself. And those things make you feel like not enough. So what is it that you're knowing that becomes enough? Because sometimes we know stuff, we tell ourselves things, and we feel like we're not enough. Well, some of the things that we would say are knowing, some words that point to the knowing, because you don't actually know the words. What you know is the meaning the words carry for you. So something may be, I am pure awareness. I am an ever free being. Now, for you all sitting in this, hanging out tonight, I know that on some level, you know this already, because you wouldn't put up with me talking to you like this every week if you didn't. So I know that on some level, you already know I am an ever free being. I am pure awareness. And it's not about the words, because I could literally probably make up 1,000 different ways to say that. That's why you're back every week. It's not the words, it's the meaning. It's the same meaning, actually, really. And that meaning has a feeling when you know it. Now, in your head, there's this other little track playing, maybe, telling you things that are markedly contradictory to the first two sentences we've said today. I am pure awareness. I am an ever free being. And now, some things aren't directly contradictory, but in order for you to believe them, or in order for you to tell yourself them, you have to believe something contradictory to those two statements. You have to believe you're a person in a body. Blah, blah. The knowing, I'm an ever free being is more powerful, but the words are not. So when you're just telling yourself the crap you tell yourself that makes you sad, it's just as powerful as telling yourself, I am an ever free being. And because the other one's on auto track, it usually wins. The words are equal power. But the meaning of the two phrases we're working with tonight is more powerful than the meaning of those other words. Now we have to understand why. Why is the meaning behind I am an ever free being, I am pure awareness, more powerful than the meaning behind the narrative we tell ourselves on ClickTrack? Because as soon as you stop the words of your internal monologue, as soon as you stop the narrative, the way it makes you feel, that suffering, that anxiety, that worry, that sadness, that loneliness, whatever it may be, as soon as you stop the words, the feeling disappears. It is actually dependent on you telling yourself those things. But with a statement like, I am pure awareness, I am an ever free being, you see, the meaning is not dependent on the words. That meaning is always present because the words are only pointing at it. The knowledge of what is actually there is there without the words. That's why I can say it 1,000 different ways. It's just meant to point at the knowledge. Let's start to work with some of these phrases with our breath. Inhale, exhale. I am not the words I hear in my mind. Inhale. Make sure you know this. When you exhale, I am not the feelings dependent on those words. Inhale, try to know you're not the feelings that are dependent on the words spoken in your mind. And then repeat, I am not the words spoken in my mind. Inhale, make sure you know it. That's what the inhale's for, to feel the knowing. On the exhale, I am not the feelings dependent on those words. Let's just try that a few rounds, just those 2 lines. Same one more time. Inhale, out breath. I'm not the words spoken in my mind. Feel the meaning. Exhale, I'm not the feelings dependent on those words. changing it up. I am an ever free being. Inhale. Second line, whose knowledge goes beyond words. Inhale. I am an ever free being. Inhale. Whose knowledge goes beyond words. Just working with those two lines now. It's an inverse from the previous two. And again, trying to feel the meaning beyond those words, as if you wouldn't need the words at all. What would you have left? That must be what we're talking about. I am an ever free being whose knowledge is beyond words. Try to remember. Try to remember. In your mind, let go of the practice for a moment. Just kind of hang out here. And as you start telling yourself your crazy stories, try to remember the knowledge beyond words. It can exist. It does exist. Whether you have those feelings derived from your words or not, they exist simultaneously. Try to know it, experience it. Whenever you tell yourself, unintentionally here, simultaneously hold the knowing experientially that is beyond words. Resume the practice. Maybe adjust your position if your body's discomfort is distracting you. Now you'll work on 4 verses. So we use 2 and 2. Now we're going to put them together. Inhale. I am not the words in my mind. I am not the feeling dependent on those words. Try to remember, it's a good practice. Inhale. I am an ever free being. Whose knowledge is beyond words. Say it one more time. Mess it up, no big deal. You just start over. But the power of memory and getting those 4 lines can help keep your attention. Here we go. I am not the words in my mind. I am not the feelings dependent on those words. I am an ever free being whose knowledge is beyond words. Another round. Focusing on that knowing beyond the words. It should be present for every part of the breath. When you're saying the words on the exhale, when you're inhaling, it's there. It's always there. That's the knowing. That's the knowing that those last two lines point at. Really try it. Each line one time, very concise. I'll say them again. I am not the words in my mind. I am not the feelings dependent on those words. Inhale. I am an ever free being. Inhale. Whose knowledge goes beyond words. Just one time. No, the whole time. Release the practice a moment. Hang out in your position. Stay inward. Stay in yourself. Whatever happens, whatever arises, see if you can still know, still experience what is beyond words. In yoga, there is a threefold word for the knowledge beyond words. That word is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat is existence. Chit is consciousness. Ananda, bliss beyond words, bliss beyond feeling. So the bliss is when consciousness knows it is pure existence. Sat Chit Ananda. The three words become one. So now, on your exhales, you say to yourself, Sat Chit Ananda. Inhale. Know you exist as pure existence. And then exhale, say the phrase again. Let the words be beautiful. A road sign you want to listen to. Directions you'd want to follow. Sat Chit Ananda. Just a label for the knowledge beyond words. Even when the errant narrative wanders you, notice what never went missing. Notice what is always there. Know that in its purest sense, what never goes away. Know that as Sat Chit Ananda. Just whisper it in your mind. Sat Chit. Uncouple it from your breath. Just saying it when you need it. Sat Chit. Like the breeze blew and you heard a voice in the wind. Watch the whisper come in and leave. Watch it flow into and out of. Watch the words flow into and out of existence. But keep watching and notice that existence isn't going anywhere at all. It's fixed. Sat Chit. Relax from your position and digest your experience. Why don't just stay in the quiet? You can sign off now. Otherwise, I'm going to do the first question for you before I stop the recording. First question would be, well, wait a minute. Aren't I just telling myself more sentences, trying to get myself to believe it? The answer is yes. Yes, you are. The culture, helps create the unintentional script we tell ourselves. And within that culture is an understanding as human consciousness that we can will things. And so we consciously script this little phrase for ourselves and investigate the meaning. It won't be powerful enough if it wasn't true, because it has so much weighing against it. Yet here we are, looking, asking these questions. Because buried in our culture, all culture, is the yearning for this kind of knowing. And knowing that is before culture. A knowing that is independent of culture. Human culture is dependent on what we are looking for. All human culture exists within the thing that we're talking about. Way off the far reaches of space where it's nice and quiet, it is possible to know it in its majesty. But when you're immersed in the heart of human culture, you've got a lot of stuff going on in your head. Guess what? It's still there. It's just hard to recognize it and to know it in its majesty. So human culture has a hint because it remembers a time before. And that time, then there was nothing, right? We were like barely, we didn't have really language, frankly. So there's still a knowing of that place. But now look at human culture, so developed. Easy to get immersed in the languaging. These are just words. So a part of you has to then go, can you feel behind it? And it will happen for you if it hasn't happened already. You'll just slip into this place far enough off in the corners of the universe where you just don't have to have any words going on. You don't have to have any human culture going on. And you'll find you exist. Okay, so I'll stop the recording if anyone has any questions.